Welcome. We are live. My name is Lee Matthew Jackson. And if you are joining me live today, then I would ask you to, first of all, give me some sort of emoji. Hit me up with an emoji. Hit me up with an emoji and let me know that you are watching. Also, do us a massive favor, and why not share this, because this is the sort of message I think is really relevant right now. The question today that we will look at is, what do I do when I feel like giving up? What do I do when I feel like giving up? It's a really potent question. And it's a really important question because right now, things are difficult. For a lot of people, a lot of businesses, things are difficult. COVID, the world economy, the lockdowns, the restrictions, there is all sorts going on that will be negatively impacting people's moods, people's businesses, people's mental health, all of the above plus more. So that feeling of wanting to give up, of just let's forget this business, let's can this, let's move on, let's get a new job, let's run away, all of those feelings are very paramount right now. And I'll admit myself, I've even considered, when things have gotten busy and stressful and I've been anxious, I've questioned my sanity. Why am I running this business? Why am I doing this particular project? What am I doing? Wouldn't it be easier to go and get a job? It's a huge question, and it's actually a question that comes up in my own life on a regular basis. You'll know that I do struggle with mental health, with anxiety and depression. It's something I've battled for many years, and I'm still winning, thankfully, but it's not easy. And the question not the question, but the feeling of wanting to give up comes into my mind a lot. I've considered giving up on the podcast. I've considered giving up on my businesses multiple times over the last 10, 15 years. There have been many occasions where it's just been so tempting to go and flip burgers at McDonald's. I look at them flipping burgers at McDonald's and I think, oh my word, that looks so easy. That looks so nice and stress-free and carefree. I turn up, I clock on, I flip a few burgers, and then I go home. I know it's not as easy as that because I used to work at McDonald's and I was stressed out to the max in McDonald's. It was no fun whatsoever, and they paid a pittance. But when you're super stressed with your business, when you're questioning all of your life decisions, when you are really tempted to just give in and go and get a regular job, flipping burgers at McDonald's looks like one of the most attractive positions that you could ever apply for. Hey, you get healthcare in some countries. You get health and safety regulation training, so you get all of these certificates. You get a regular salary, you get regular shifts, you get a free burger at lunchtime. Oh my word, that sounds pretty damn good, and it is pretty damn tempting. I'll admit, I'm actually getting a little bit hungry talking about this. So let me know in the comments, have you had this feeling of wanting to give up? Have you looked jealously at somebody in a fast food restaurant or in a restaurant or anywhere really and thinking, you know what, your job right now looks so much more attractive than what I'm doing with my business right now? There are kind of 4 things that I do when I have these feelings. And it's really important to understand that in most circumstances, these are just feelings, and you should not necessarily act on them. And the first thing is this. I ask myself, is this an emotional response to multiple external factors? So let's set the scene. I'm extremely busy. I've got 2 companies. I've got a project that's gone wrong in one of the businesses, so I'm having to put a lot of time in making sure the client's happy again and fixing all of that. I've got new pressures coming in, so new emails, new tasks, all of this piling on top of me. At home, I also have the stress of a wife who's expecting but is also ill. I also have other stresses, other personal stresses going on in my life. So there's all of these things going on, which creates this massive burden and this massive negative energy and this massive feeling of wanting to just give in and go and get a regular job. And I have to then question myself and say, okay, am I wanting to give in because of all of these different factors which are affecting me both mentally, emotionally, and physically? Or is it that I really do just no longer love this business and need to walk away? And when I start to analyze and look at all those things that are going on around me, I recognize that it's an emotional response in most circumstances. It's kind of that fight or flight when you consider, when you want to protect yourself. I was talking to Tim, actually, my business partner, about this today. I kind of have this mechanism where I want to protect myself, and I start to lash out at all sorts of different things, blaming different things, thinking different things are the fault, are the problem, thinking, oh, I just need to can that, or I need to change how I do that, or I just need to cancel that contract, or just fire that client, or just do that, or just do that, because I'm reacting emotionally to what is going on around me. And I think there is a quick fix, like just giving in, or like just not selling that product or service anymore, or whatever that might be. So I ask myself, is this an emotional response to everything else that's going on around me? And in most circumstances, because sometimes it's not, but most circumstances, it's absolutely me lashing out at anything and everything because I feel like I've lost control over my entire life in all sorts of different areas. So the things that I think I can control, i.e. giving up or canceling that contract or firing that client, becomes very tempting because I just want to give up and I want to get some of that control back. When I recognize that it is that emotional response, I can start to take positive actions in the right direction. First of all, just acknowledging that this is emotion right now and this is not the best time to make a decision to cancel a contract, to start a new business and can the old one, to go and get a new job. I need to recognize it's an emotional response to what's going on around me and then start to take my time to start to amend things. Take some time off to spend with my wife who's not well. Have a conversation with some clients and explain that things have gotten a bit too crazy and we need some extra leeway in time. Just start to give yourself some of that padding. I need to take a swig of this. Let me know in the comments. Would you like coffee or tea? I'm having a latte right now. Next thing I need to do is then have a look at what I'm doing and say to myself, do I have a real plan in place or am I just coasting? We've talked about the emotional response to everything that's going on around you. When you run a business, you kind of need a plan. And I talk about this in one of our live streams where I talk about a business plan. I also have the one-page business plan podcast that I would encourage you to go and listen to. When you don't have a plan, then you don't necessarily know what direction you're going to go in. If you don't have a map, you can't find the destination that you want to get to. If you don't know where the destination is that you want to get to, then no map on earth is going to help you because you just don't know how to find it. You don't know how to get there. If I book a trip to Disney World, I know where it is physically located and I know the steps I need to take to get there. Likewise, with a business, we need a business plan. Therefore, we need to understand that we have a plan, a mission, and we've started to analyze the steps that we will need to take to get to that end result. So we can start to look and say, do I have a plan? Do I have a direction? Or have I built a business? Have I built tasks and duties and responsibilities around me which keep me busy but don't actually get me to where I need to be? Am I busy doing stuff but don't actually have a clear plan, thus a clear understanding of how I'm going to get there? When you don't have a plan, when you don't know how the hell you're going to get there, that means saying what it is and reverse engineering it and seeing what those steps are. If you don't have that, it's very easy to want to give up. I'm never going to finish this book, or I'm never going to do X, Y, Z. I'm just going to give in. Reverse engineer those steps. You need that plan to get there. Number one, emotional. Number two, did you even have a plan in the first place? Because if not, don't give in. Try reverse engineering it and actually creating some sort of plan that you can follow and make it realistic. Few months, few years, whatever that needs to be, to get to where it is you want to be. If you do have a plan, the next question I would ask is, and this is of myself, have I become distracted from my main goal? So I do have a plan. I have a very specific plan for Agency Trailblazer. I want to grow this brand. I want it to become a content-driven service which teaches agency owners all around the world how to build businesses that they love, not to become gazillionaires, but to build businesses that they love, that give them time with their family, time with their hobbies, creativity, whatever they want to do. Just create something that is freaking nice and not stressful. That's why I'm even doing this exact live stream right now, okay? it's a very specific plan. I know I want to sell digital products around that. So that's courses, that's blueprints, that's masterminds, all sorts of different things that I'll be coming out over the next few months and years. I've got a very specific plan. Therefore, the activities that I engage with right now are to help that happen. But I very often find myself getting distracted by shiny new objects, by different ideas which do not help that plan and actually start to build in more stuff for me to do, makes it more distracting, takes me away from the original goal, and I start going off in that direction and become overwhelmed and feel that I'm not getting to where I want to be, and the temptation therefore is to give up. And finally, reality check. Should I be doing what I am doing? This is a tough question, but let's look at this. We've got our emotional factors. We've got the plan. Do we have that plan in place? And have we gotten distracted? But we also need to do a reality check. Is this healthy for us? Is what we are doing healthy for us? Regardless of our plan and regardless of our dreams, is this healthy? And if it's not healthy, can I improve what I am doing, change a few things, and thus make it healthy, thus allowing me to move on with my plans? Or do I actually need to change what I'm doing? Do I actually need to give in and do something new? We actually have to be honest. When people say, oh, don't give up, sometimes reality check. You might actually need to give up. You might be too far down the wrong path and you need to start over or try something new. So reality check. Look at the emotions. Is what you are doing right? Is it killing you? No, reality check. The plan, look at the plan you have. Is that a plan that you really want to achieve? Are you really fired up? Are you really energized by that plan? Is that thing that you are aiming for something that you really want, that's really going to edify you, your family, your friends, your life, your quality of life, all of that sort of stuff? Is it really going to edify that? Or is it just a plan you wrote down on a piece of paper for the sake of a business plan a few years ago and you've been working towards it and you're not really sure why? Equally, when you become distracted from your plans or from your main goals, that's kind of a warning sign that maybe you're not 100% bought into whatever that plan or that goal is, which all leads back to the reality check. So you all thought I was going to be saying today, hey, don't give in. And I am saying, don't give in. I'm saying go through this process and fix what's wrong so that you can keep on trucking to aim towards those goals and those plans that you have. But reality check, remember that sometimes we set ourselves goals and plans that we are actually not really bought into. We're doing things that we think we need to do. I bet there are people in the Agency Trailblazer community who are only running an agency because they know how to build a website and they can make money, but it's not their passion. I bet you there are people in the community who are doing that. I used to do IT, hated it. I could do it. I was really good at IT, hated it, got paid really well, became an IT manager, but I was only doing it because it made money. I could put money in the bank and I could pay my bills. Oh, it's deep. That's deep, that one, isn't it? It's tough. But I would say going through this process helps you sanity check those plans, helps you sanity check what you really want from life, and then helps you to say, stake in the ground, I actually want this, or I do want this, and I am going to get rid of these blockers in my life, or start to work on these blockers, those emotional blockers, those time management blockers, those cash flow blockers, those distraction blockers, the lack of a plan blocker. All of those we can work on. But the reality check right at the very end of the day is if it's killing you, if you're getting nowhere and you're not even massively enthralled with the vision that you kind of have because it's just a vision you came up with at some point thinking, well, that'll pay the bills, then maybe it's time to do a reality check, and maybe it is time to start thinking about what you really want. It's deep. Have a think about that, guys. If you're watching the replay, please let me know. Type in the word replay. We have a message here from Matt Davis who says, too many people are trapping themselves into a dream they don't believe in. Release yourselves. Yes, Absolutely. And we also have Facebook user who says, true, nothing is easy. I used to give tuitions to kids, and I used to think that it would be easy, but it wasn't. I imagine it wasn't. I was responsible for getting them prepared for the exams and for getting good grades. I had to strategize, align, give my best to earn a small amount of money, but all those experiences helped a lot in the next 10 years. Yes, that's a very good point. By the way, if you see Facebook user on here, there should be a link on StreamYard that allows you to approve StreamYard to see your username so that we can actually show who you are. Absolutely, 100%. What's really important is when we do that reality check and when we go, oh my gosh, I've wasted the last 10 years of my life on a vision that I'm not actually that bought into, or whatever we say. It's not wasted time, is it? You've not wasted those 10 years. You've had amazing experience and learned amazing things that you can now apply to the new business that you have, the new focus that you have, the mission and everything that you have. So, that is not a failure. That is not a bad thing. What you've gone through has helped you build the platform for the success that you can have now. God, that sounded clever. I sound clever today. I'm really impressed with myself. You're absolutely right. And I'm glad that you've been able to change your direction in whatever it is. I wish I knew who it was, Facebook user. You're absolutely right. I mean, for myself, let me share my IT experience. So I did two things. I first of all built computers for myself because I wanted to build computers and was just into building stuff, and then realized that I'd be able to make money being in IT. It was a no-brainer. So I just went ahead and did that. But throughout the entire time, I was building websites all the time, and I was learning coding, and I loved it. And when I was on the IT jobs, I was trying to get them to have me build a website and have me do some code and programming and have me create new apps and solutions for the whole 10 years or 15 years I was in IT. And it made me realize that the entire time I was completely in the wrong industry. I was getting stressed. I was overwhelmed. I hated IT. I hated what I was doing. I wanted to walk away and give it all in. And when I did that, when I asked myself those questions and then had that reality check, I finally recognized that actually I didn't want to be in IT. I wanted to pursue a career in development. I wanted to build an agency. That's exactly what I went ahead and did. I built that agency. And I had the 10 to 15 years of IT experience behind me where I learned systems, I learned processes, I developed the discovery blueprint that I now share with other people. So that was actually a discovery process I would go in for designing networks and solutions to real big enterprise problems. So I was pretty good at that, all that sort of stuff. And these are all things that I've then been able to apply to my business, just like Facebook user was sharing earlier about the 10 years of education and then being able to take that on and to apply that into their life as well. Matt Davis says, I did the same, mate. Used to do PC repair because it was just something I knew how to do and I didn't enjoy it and it wasn't my calling. There you go, folks. Let's do the patented recap. We are talking about what do you do when you feel like giving up? And first of all, we want to just make sure that this is not an emotional response to a whole load of bad crap that's going on around you. So take some time, take a step back and say, what's going on around me? What could be making me feel like this? Was it an argument with a client that really upset me? And this is just an emotional response to a bad situation. And these are all things that could be fixed. So have a look at that, sanity check that. Next, have a look and make sure that you actually really have a plan as a business, that you're going in a direction that you want to go into. And caveat that with this, which is, have I become distracted from my main goal? And if I have become distracted from my main goal, is that a goal that I'm really even going after? And sanity check all of that. The cool thing is that allows you to pivot, to change, to do whatever it needs to do to help you build a plan that you can really get behind and really go after. And finally, it could also lead to that reality check where you're not in the right place and it might be time to make a change. And hey, nothing like today to start making a change in your life, especially with everything that's going on around us. All right, I think we have one last comment in. Matt Matt has just said, shameless promotion, the discovery blueprint. You can go ahead and check that one out as well. Thanks, Matt. Folks, thanks so much for your time. I'm really enjoying just rocking up, having a general natter, sharing from my experiences. These are my experiences when I have these feelings, and I get these feelings once every 2 months at least, where I want to give something up. I want to just walk away from it because I'm finding it too stressful or whatever. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I do go, why am I doing that extra podcast when that's not really on the mission and doesn't really align with the goals that I have? So I canned the Digital Renaissance podcast. Great idea, got excited about it, but I was getting distracted from my main goal. And that's because my main goal wasn't clearly defined enough. I didn't have the steps towards my main goal clearly defined enough, and I started getting distracted with other things. So these are the sorts of things that I will do, and I will sometimes come to the point where some things I will give up because they're not helping me get to where I need to be, and some things I will recognize that I'm just in a bad place emotionally, and that there are other things that I should be looking at to help improve my mental and emotional state so that I can keep on keeping on towards the goal. Love you all loads. You're all freaking awesome. If you got this far and you watched the replay, type in the word replay, share a GIF, do whatever you want. If you're on Twitter, retweet this. If you're on YouTube, hit us up in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, then like you're probably the only person on Twitch. Well done, you. And where else am I? And if you're on Facebook, like, share, and all that jazz. Peace. Hey, if you can't be good, be careful.